Good morning, welcome to Coffee Talk, everybody. It is the last Coffee Talk of February.
Wow.
Right?
Man, it's almost spring.
I've been in conversations this week about, we're talking May Camp, as in all the advertisements and sign up and registration, all that stuff is coming out in the next couple of weeks. Wow. And that's rapidly approaching. We have Easter coming up really soon. Yeah. We're already well into Lent for those who track those sorts of things. We're spring break is on the horizon. I know that kids are all sorts of things planning and happening. It's just great. So it's and I saw a thing this morning on Casa about spring gardening. Yeah. And I know some of you who are itching to get outside into the garden. Yeah. Have at her.
When? Sorry, I am away. My mind's not here. But when's the little guy poke his head out? Groundhog Day.
We're past Groundhog Day.
We're okay.
We were past it, right. And everyone was like, "Groundhog says early spring," and my kid, and then we had that little bit of cold snap a week ago, and my kids were like, "But the groundhog said," and I'm like, "You cannot trust a rodent to tell you the weather." Oh my goodness. Anyways, so good morning, everyone. Here we go. Welcome to Coffee Talk. Okay, looking back, we're continuing to talk about cultural values of Lakeview. Not to say we're the best and everybody should be like us, but just to say this is what we want to lean into. This is what we value, what we prize, who we think God has called us and made us to be, and we want to live faithfully to that because we see these characteristics in Jesus. So we're talking joyful generosity, but first I want to ask the question, what is it that you've had experience with that just feels limitless or boundless? Whoa. And I thought of this question as I was walking down the hallway, and a lot of children are arriving for the morning, and I do remember, there is oh man, nothing tires you out like chasing a child all day, right? And it just feels like, you cannot wait. So sometimes their energy
seems boundless.
Boundless on the list. We know it's not, but what else comes to mind for you, Jeff?
Right away, my dog.
Right.
Because he's just seems
same kind of energy.
Never get enough. But you said that I have experience with. I don't have experience with it, but space seems boundless to me. Right. It goes on forever. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm sure you've laid out on a starry night and just pondered, right? The fact that you see those stars and you're like, those are how many light years away? Yeah, exactly. Like the actual distance of them is how far? Right. That is that's hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah. I can't. Just so far away.
Yeah.
A little bit less, but still, to me, is the ocean.
Right.
I've been in the ocean and just thought, oh my goodness, it's just never ends.
Yeah.
How far down and how far across, So those are some things,
Yeah.
What else comes to mind for you?
I'm trying to think of other things that just seem to have that never-ending. Sometimes time feels that way, right? We've been stuck in certain meetings where you're just like, oh my God. It's like school felt that way. And of course it wasn't, but it just some days.
It felt like that when you're young.
When you're young, it feels that way. Like this is never going to end. Or, you're waiting to grow older and you're like, and then you get old and you're like, why is this so impatient?
Yeah.
And I ask this because what's, I think, easy to forget is that God's joy is also boundless.
Yeah.
Right? Wow. We think that he's going to run out.
Yeah.
And that's just not who he is.
Yeah.
And we could say the same thing about his love, right? The song starts captures it endures forever, right? And we celebrate that. But that's also true of God's joy and his patience and his peace and all these other characteristics of him. And that flows over, I think, into his generosity too. And I think that's what you've tried to bring us to as we've looked at God's joyful generosity. That he's the most joyful being. You said that several times. And he's also the most generous.
Yeah.
And so, and these are hallmarks, I think, as you brought up, right? We talk about God's kingdom a lot. These are hallmarks of his kingdom.
Yeah. Right.
That tied over with something I was listening to a podcast on the kingdom of heaven yesterday, talking about two competing kingdoms. Jesus being the leader of one and Satan being the leader of the other, and they're competing kingdoms, and one is limitless, right? Or one has this incredible generosity to it, and everything is finite and limited, and therefore it's about preserving and hoarding and holding on to, and that idea of just absolutely clutching onto something. And so what are some of the ways, and in case, just to be perfectly transparent, Jesus' kingdom is the unlimited one. It's the one that's got, there's the freedom to be generous because everything we need, there's more in God. So what are some of the ways that we have seen in the Gospels, Jesus, what are some of the things that he is generous with? And maybe another way to look at that or ask that is, what are commodities that feel limited that we see Jesus just dole out? And we would sometimes say, are you sure you don't want to hold on to that a little bit?
Right.
Because some of the ones that come to my mind is time and compassion. And one of the ways that came up this week for us is, in youth, we're working through Acts, and we're looking at the 3 Herods of the Bible. Because you've got the Herod of Jesus, that tried to kill Jesus as a baby. You've got the Herod who teamed up with Pilate to do it as an adult. And then you've got the 3rd Herod that then locks up Peter and kills James. And the idea that, which then took us to, okay, the Herod that killed John the Baptist, that later teamed up with Pilate. When you read the gospel not as little snippets, you see that Jesus was mourning the loss of his cousin, gets in a boat, sails across the lake to have some quiet time of mourning and reflection, ends up feeding 5,000 people. And it says that Jesus, when he saw the crowds, had compassion and started teaching. And it's like, if ever there was a moment you would think where Jesus could have been like, guys, I need a break. Let's go somewhere else. And he didn't. So time, compassion, what are some of the other things that Jesus was like, seemed unlimited with?
Well, I mean, you even mentioned the one that I was thinking of, the feeding of the 5,000, like material, like that. There was 5 loaves and 2 fish, I think, at the 5,000. And they just didn't run out. He just made it go on and on.
Is it the 5,000 or the 4,000 that starts with Jesus asking the disciples how much money they have? One of those feedings does. And they're like, we've only got a few bucks. That's not enough, Jesus. We don't have enough cash here. And he's like,
all right. What do you got?
What else you got?
And then they bring.
And then they feed.
Lunch, but what's that going to do?
Yeah, exactly. And so again, and I love that even illustrates the 2 different mindsets, right? One is like, we've only got a few dollars. I don't know. That's not going to do it. Let's send everybody out to fend for themselves. And Jesus is like, no, take care of it. Let's do it. But anyways, another one that comes to my mind is his reputation.
Okay, explain that.
So we often, I think we sometimes talk about how we got to kind of guard our reputation. Like there's proverbs about a good reputation is hard to come by, right? And yet Jesus was known for hanging out with sinners.
I see.
Right? So he wasn't worried about what people thought of him. His primary focus was growing the kingdom, sharing God's love and compassion, modeling what God is like for people, right? And so he was going to go to the people who, like he said, those that know they're in need of a doctor. Kind of, he uses that medical illustration. So he went to the people who needed him most, and were going to receive him, regardless of the kind of reputation that was lost. And then ultimately died the most shameful death ever possible, right? And in between, took on, like when he washed his disciples' feet, that was the most humiliating job for any of the servants. And Jesus repeatedly humbled himself at the cost of his reputation. And so that's another one. What else? Do you have any others that?
Well, I mean, that's like compassion keeps coming to mind. He would reach out and he would touch those people that others kind of related to his reputation and his. I think we covered some of the big. I'm sure there's more. But on the spot,
it's all good. I had a whole sermon to think of this as I was making notes. One of the other ones that comes to mind is his power. And I think specifically because when the woman touched the hem of his garment and received healing, it notes, right? Jesus notes, my power went out from me, right? It wasn't like this guarded thing that he metered out. but rather it just someone's act of faith and boom, he was there. And as just another example of something, of commodity that we might say is limited, and he's like, no, we can be generous with this.
Well, yeah, and you see that over and over. Like, he tells demons that nobody else can do anything with, to flee, and they're gone. And he calms can you imagine being out on a stormy ocean and saying, or sea or something, and saying, be still, and it's still? In this power.
Well, and what always marvels me about that story is the disciples are more terrified after.
Of him. Yeah.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you be? Like, well, you just, who are you?
You just did what the God who created the universe did.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my goodness, now we have a real force to reckon with. Anyways, that is a little bit of a side tangent for another day. But there's a lot of different things Jesus, that I think we would naturally look at him doing and go, maybe dial it down. Like maybe, right? Maybe
or save some for later.
Save some for later, right? It's that idea.
Right.
And yet what I think he models is we have a resource provider in the Father who is, because you brought up that parable, right, of the talents. And what we fail to see in that is that if the resources run out, God's got more to give. That he has this he gives us stuff to steward, but if we're stewarding it well, there's ample more. Yeah.
And even if that one went and didn't make the best investment, it would still be better than holding on to it. Right?
That's right. The worst thing we can do is hold on to something that we're not meant to hold on to.
Exactly. And I think what we have to really make sure we think about is, it's not that the resources are endless for me to do what I want.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't have to worry about myself at all or anything like that, and I get to just go and do what I want. It's, I see you in need. Yeah. Here, I have this. Yeah. And I'm not sure what I'll do, but I have this for you. Yeah. And then, I think that's what he's getting at, right? Yeah. Like, steward, you said it. I mean, it's inherent in what you said, but just to clarify, if we're stewarding well, right? And meaning with well motivations, not necessarily always making, we don't know the best choices, but if we see a need and we go to take care of it, that's what he cares about.
I think absolutely. I think sometimes we forget that part of God's generosity, it looks at our good intentions. And I think that God says, you saw that need, you went after it. It didn't work out, but here's more, right? The intention behind it to honor God, to make him known, I think he honors really well, and is going to keep providing. That's and I think the worst possible thing we can do is sit on the resources he's given us and not use. I also tend to think everything is a tool, right? Yeah. And whether we're talking about the chairs right over there, those are tools that we have for a purpose, and that purpose for those chairs is fellowship, connection, right? A place to rest as we communicate, as we disciple one another, right? All these things, but they reach that end, and everything that we have is in that way. Yeah. And when we think back, one of the things we do is when we have celebration times as a church, what's central to all of that? Here's the way God was generous. Here's what God did. Here's what God did. Here's what God did. And part of that is I can trust in the future because I've seen where he's been faithful in the past. Yeah. Yeah. And so I do think that is important for us to look back at times. And make sure we have a good perspective on who God is. So thank you for leading us through joyful generosity.
Thank you for this. This is great.
A few things looking forward. We have March 8th. One of the ways we get to see generosity in action is very rarely, if ever, has it been a soup Sunday that we
don't have enough soup.
Don't have enough, right?
You're right.
Jeff, you want to just sort of lay out the details on that one for us?
So March 8th, not this Sunday, but the next. Oh, is it the next? Yes, it's the next.
That's correct.
We are going to come into the fellowship room after the morning gathering on Sunday and have soup. And if you've never been a part of that, feel free to just come and have lunch with us. If you have, you know that we have different people providing soup. So if you're feeling joyfully generous this week or next week, I guess, and want to help with soup, Kevin is looking for people to make a pot of soup. And he's hoping that someone that didn't do it last time is available for this time so that we can kind of spread that out. So if you weren't helping last time and would like to make a pot, please let Kevin know. You can call the office, you can call Kevin, you can email him, whatever, but he would really like to know. Otherwise, come and join us on March 8th for soup.
And one of the things that frees us all up is when we know we've had a turn making soup, right? We can just sit and enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think that's Kevin's heartbeat is that, hey, if we all take a turn and spread it out, then we also all get to just have a turn just sitting and enjoying and relaxing. And that's really good too. Plus, it's kind of fun to taste other people's soups.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I always wish I had more room in my stomach, to taste more soup.
Small bowls are a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Anyways, and then a couple days later on the Tuesday is our next West Kelowna United youth event. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, 6 maybe youth groups getting together for this. It's at Emmanuel Church this time on Tuesday, March 10th, and which means no youth here on the Monday night right before. We just kind of move everything a day and get together with everybody else and have a really it's a lot of fun. So we hope everybody will make it out to that. And that's really, I mean, like we said at the start, Easter's coming, and there'll be stuff about that. There'll be, Community Good Friday service and all, but we just save that for another day. Instead, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and we'll look forward to connecting again real soon.